Coming up on Eyewitness News, more local in the morning at 6. The hearing into whether Rockford's police chief interfered with a welfare check will go on for yet another day. Day 2 ending with compelling evidence of what may have happened. And shocking testimony. A key witness in that hearing making some startling remarks and why she says the chief wasn't following the rules. Plus, a job fair in Belvedere attracting hundreds looking for work and why the latest figures show that the economy may be improving here in the state line.
2 stations, more local news. Eyewitness News, more local in the morning, starts now.
And good morning. Thank you for joining us. Second hour of the program. I'm Matt Rodewald.
And I'm Candace King. Things this morning starting off pretty quiet, so nothing to be too concerned with out there, which is good. We'll see some sunshine, and that keeps our first warned weather risk low for today.
Now, just for today, because we'll see if a little snow is coming around the corner.
We do. We got some snowfall for the weekend, but don't have to worry about that this morning. It is going to be a little bit of a cooler afternoon, though, as high pressure settles on in. 17 now in Freeport. We're down to 19 in Rockford. So now that our skies are beginning to clear out, the temperature is starting to fall back. You're all the way down to 14 out in Galena, 18 from Monroe to Janesville. From the teens into the 20s is where we go through noon. We'll see partly cloudy skies later this afternoon as temperatures climb into the mid-20s. We do have some snow for the weekend. First Warn interactive radar, great thing to have. You can track the snow. Maybe you got travel plans downstate into central Illinois. That's where you're going to find the biggest impact heading through the weekend. So we'll go into more detail on that in your First Warn forecast coming up here in just a bit. Matt?
All right, Candace, it is 6:03, and here's what's new and now for you on this Friday morning. A University of Illinois student has been missing since Sunday. 20-year-old Vincente Mundo was last seen near the corner of 3rd and Chalmers down in Champaign on Sunday night. His roommate told Mundo's family that he left their off-campus apartment in order to meet someone near his car, but never returned. His car is also missing. That's a silver Acura TL sedan with dark blue Chicago Bears license plates with the number 2557. No word from ISIS as the deadline passes for a proposed prisoner swap, leaving the fate of 2 hostages unknown at this hour. The country of Jordan saying that they would release the convicted female terrorist in exchange for the Jordanian pilot being held hostage. Jordan says they are willing to cooperate but need proof that their pilot is still alive first. And rap mogul Suge Knight is in trouble once again, being investigated this time for a deadly hit-and-run accident in Los Angeles. Police say that a man matching his description drove over 2 men with his red pickup truck and then drove over them again as he sped away from the scene. The hit-and-run allegedly stemmed from an argument that Knight had with the 2 men. One person is dead and the other's condition has not been disclosed. Well, day 2 of the probable cause hearing of Rockford's police chief was just like the last one, extensive and quite long. The Board of Fire and Police Commissioners is looking into whether Chief Epperson interfered with a welfare check at the home of former NAACP President Lloyd Johnston. We have team coverage for you this morning as Eyewitness News reporter Philip Reed attended yesterday's hearing and has more.
I was paranoid and scared that there would be some type of mishap in which I would end up getting shot.
Former NAACP President Lloyd Johnston speaking in front of the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners about the night police showed up at his door after receiving a call that Johnston got into a fight with his son. He says he was shocked to see the officers because he did not know if his son was even home at the time. He claims Officer Boone got angry when Johnston did not let them into his home, threatening to kick in his door. Johnston says he feared for his life and went to call Peterson, but saw the chief's number in his phone first. He says Epperson never told him to tell the officers to leave, instead instructing him to not let police in, and he would send a supervisor. A supervisor then showed up and police left shortly after. Epperson's lawyer argues the chief did nothing wrong, and this is just a ploy by the union to get rid of the chief. Johnston even testified about a conversation he had with the union president just days after the incident.
Terry Peterson said, you know, we've been trying to get him out of, we've been trying to get that guy out of there.
I don't remember having any discussion with him about the disposition with regard to the chief's employment.
Peterson took the stand after Johnston and says the union is not biased toward the chief, but says there have been multiple incidents involving Epperson that have made the department lose faith in the chief, and that led to the union filing a complaint.
Phil Reed reporting, and another key witness, former Deputy Chief Lori Sweeney, was in the hot seat answering questions on Thursday about her former boss. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Langer has that side of the story and tells us about her extensive testimony and why Sweeney resisted the chief's requests.
Former Deputy Chief of the Rockford Police Department, Lori Sweeney, gives testimony for 3 hours. Sweeney retired last year, not long after Police Chief Chet Epperson asked her to, quote, fix the police report on the incident at NAACP President Lloyd Johnston's home. Epperson objecting to officers' contention that he gave instructions for them to leave the home.
I can't tell you what was in the chief's mind, but I can tell you that my inference of that when he said fix the report is he merely wanted that sentence removed from the report.
But Sweeney resisted, saying changing it was a violation of protocol.
One of the emails, when we went back and forth, he said, just don't make this a bigger thing. I just want it taken care of. And that's when our conversation with mine and the chief's conversation was I could not and I would not meet with the officers and have them fix the report.
Sweeney even conducted a follow-up investigation and said she believed the officer's account that they overheard Epperson.
It would appear the phone was on speaker, and all 3 officers, I even had sent Lieutenant Hooksman back to ask about proximity. Are we sure the officers were close enough to overhear the conversation?
But Sweeney also testified that Epperson did not directly ask officers to leave Johnston's home.
The chief did not directly tell the officers to leave.
That is correct.
And your investigation determined that they did not leave. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Now, the strained relationship between Sweeney and Epperson was also a topic of her testimony, saying that Epperson at one point suggested that the two go to mediation in order to better build communication between them. The hearing will continue on February 19th with cross-examination of Peterson. And if you missed anything this week from the hearings, we have full coverage for you online, including a complete wrap-up of Chief Epperson's testimony. It's all at mystateline.com. In other news this morning, a man is shot 3 times overnight and survives. This all happened in the area of Oakley Avenue and Jefferson Street around 10 o'clock last night. Officers arrived to find a 34-year-old male suffering from multiple gunshot wounds to his leg. The man told officers that he was walking down the street with a friend when a dark-colored SUV approached them and fired multiple shots. That man was transported to a local hospital for his injuries, and he is expected to be okay. The Harlem-Roscoe Fire Department is warning people of a scam that could be knocking on your door. According to firefighters, people have been going from door to door and calling and asking for donations for the fire department. Harlem-Roscoe says, though, that they do not solicit donations through the phone or by knocking on doors. If you receive a phone call or have someone come to your door, you're asked to not give them any money and alert the authorities. The latest unemployment figures show that less people are without a job in Rockford in comparison to last year. The report states that Rockford had just less than an 8% employment rate in December, and that's nearly a 4% decrease from almost the 12% rate from December of 2013. Overall, the state line adding 800 more jobs than last year. And the state line looking to add even more jobs during one of the largest job fairs in recent years. More than 50 employers, staffing agencies, and training providers attending the annual Career Expo at Belvedere's Community Building Complex. About 400 people were on hand, put on by the Workforce Connection. And organizers say that a lot of companies are looking to hire.
We didn't have to force anybody to show up here. They were calling us, wanting to be at this job fair. So we think that's a good sign for the economy. Unemployment's down a little bit. Companies are hiring. We think it's going to be there's a good indication it's going to be a pretty positive year.
Job seekers are out in full force in hopes of getting a range of jobs like in manufacturing and in sales. It is 6:10, and coming up on Eyewitness News, plans to bring an Amtrak station to Rockford could be on hold, and the long-awaited matchup between Winnebago and Lutheran set for tonight. A preview next in sports. Plus, look at the forecast.
Hey, we've been lacking a bit in the snowfall over this winter season, but we made add up some of that over the weekend. More on that when you join me on the other side of the break. Stay right here.